Do you have a home that has become unaffordable due to the tough economy? Has debt or unemployment pushed you to the brink of financial disaster? I am attorney Gary Melton, and at Stovall & Associates, we can put your family's difficulties behind you and rebuild your financial future. Call today for your free appointment and get the answers that you need in tough times. Don't give up. Call our Pahrump office for your free consultation. Stovall & Associates. Good lawyers for good people.
Court Reporter with Stovall & Associates.
Welcome to Court Reporter with Stovall & Associates. I'm your host, Mike Iglinski. We have a very special guest tonight. We only have one, so actually we're going to take the whole half hour and we're going to speak with Brian Kunzi. He's a candidate for District Attorney's Office here in Nye County. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you,
for
Mike.
being on. We appreciate it. We had you once before.
Yeah, I was here shortly for one program
earlier. It was just a 1, 2, 3 thing. So anyway, but we had a lot of people request to have you on. So we really appreciate you making the time, and we're going to go a little bit through, some of your background, and we'll talk about, the position of district attorney and what platform you're running on, and where you see yourself in the future for all of us. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right, good deal. So for people that don't know you, which it sounds like you're really getting out there and campaigning pretty hard, so maybe everybody already does know you.
I wish that were true.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, trying to balance a job and family with campaigning is not the easiest task.
Making money, it's such a pain. Yeah. Anyway, so personal background. I mean, you born and raised in Pahrump?
Actually, I was not born and raised in Pahrump, but and unfortunately, I can't say I'm a native Nevadan. I was actually born in upstate New York, but I actually was raised in Hawthorne since about age 2. I was 2 years old when we moved to Hawthorne. So that's where I went to all of my schooling, graduated from high school.
Okay.
So just up the road. Hawthorne's actually 108 miles northwest of Tonopah. So we're kind of the next adjacent county over. So
gotcha.
I pretty much raised in this area.
Really? Okay, so that's wonderful. And so so you went to high school there and then undergraduate?
Undergraduate was always one of those funny things. I had the good fortune of earning a Army 4-year ROTC scholarship.
Oh, great.
So I was able to take that anywhere that had an Army ROTC program. And so I think like a lot of kids in small towns, I was leaving Nevada and was not intending to come back. So I always laugh. I ended up at...
It's the old brain drain.
Yeah, I ended up at Indiana University.
Okay.
And everybody always asks me why. And but there's actually a logical story because there's actually a connection with the base there. It used to be a Navy base when I was in high school. And so my dad used to go back to training back at Indiana. And then when I was a senior in high school, they were... the last undefeated national championship team was Indiana. So I always say that I went to Indiana because of their basketball team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not because of my basketball abilities.
Yeah, exactly. So how many years did you play?
Yeah.
Actually, I went to the University of Oklahoma, and partly because I liked their football program.
Yep.
That's just the truth of it. Actually, it's funny. We had one of our associates in our firm actually is an Indiana graduate, and he said Bloomington, right?
Bloomington, yeah.
Yeah, I said Bloomington is a great place to go to school. He remembers it very fondly. So.
Bloomington is a great town. It is your typical college town. There's 40,000 residents and 40,000 students, and the whole town revolves around.
So they actually like their college students.
Yes, and unfortunately at Indiana, our football season is just letting you know that it's getting ready for basketball season. So just different.
Tell you to start making your time for the future. Okay, so the Indiana, and then obviously, did you do a graduate program? Or did you go straight to law school?
I went straight to law school. What I had to do was, because of my ROTC obligations, I had to get an educational delay to go to law school. So I was actually commissioned when I graduated from college, but then they allowed me to go to law school. So back when I was going to law school, Nevada had no law school.
Yeah.
And so really the Nevada law school was the University of Pacific McGeorge School of Law in Sacramento.
Right.
I think probably 75% of the people in northern Nevada all go to McGeorge.
Oh, I would say that, even in southern Nevada, I run into a lawyer almost every single day that was McGeorge. In fact, Mr. Stovall is a graduate from McGeorge.
Yeah, in fact, Les was there about the same time, I think.
Oh, really? You guys were at school? I didn't know.
Because I graduated in 1983.
You guys would have been there at the same time.
I think he was in the evening program, and I was in the day program. So we didn't have any classes together, but I know he was there.
Yeah, he was working full time, I think. Yeah, and he was law school at night. So. Yeah. God bless it. That sounds pretty tough. Anyway, so University of Pacific, wonderful, great place to be. But you said I've got to get back to Nevada.
Well, actually. I had to go in the Army. I
you were
shouldn't say
commissioned, right.
had to.
You owed them time.
I owed them time, and so the Army, in their infinite wisdom, decided to send me back to Indiana. It's like, when I got my assignment, I was like, Indiana, really? I said, I kind of joined the military to see the world, and they kind of laughed and says, well, it was one of your choices. And I said, well, yeah, but it wasn't one of my top choices. I just kind of threw it at the bottom. So I did 4 years of active duty in Indianapolis, is where the military base there is.
And what did you do in your time there?
I did a lot of different things. I mean, probably the best thing I did was I spent 2 years as a trial defense attorney. And so that really gave me some great experience. I mean, my very first criminal trial I did was a sexual assault. So you learn
You're in
quickly.
military courts here?
Military courts, yes. I probably did about 25 jury trials when I was in the Army.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So the experience was unbelievable. And like I said, my very first trial was a sexual assault. So that's kind of a scary, when you think about it, it's that series of a charge, and you're kind of thinking, man, if I mess this up, this guy's going to jail for life.
It's interesting that you're saying that being able to be in that position, working in military courts, is you actually get to play first chair in a criminal trial. And I know that most people, if they aren't in the field of law, they don't realize it takes a very long time before you actually get to be sitting first chair. So you get some nice experience immediately.
Well, it was really interesting because when I came out of the Army, and at that time we decided that we were going to stay in Indianapolis. So I was interviewing with some law firms in Indianapolis. And I interviewed with one firm that basically said, well, here's what we do. We kind of give you some files that have already been worked, and we'll see how you do those. And then you'll second chair some depositions. And I looked at the guy and I'm going, I have done numerous felony level jury trials, and you think I'm going to go back and do this stuff? So I have to say that I got into a great situation.
Right.
But having that experience, I was not going to go back and do what the large law firms kind of make you do.
Yeah, there's like that 15-year trial period that you seem to go on. Well, okay, so you were working in military courts, and then after you had served your time, you were decommissioned, I assume?
Well, I was still, I stayed in the active reserves.
Okay.
But then I worked for an insurance defense law firm in Indianapolis for 2 years.
Okay.
And then I got talked back into coming back to Reno and working with a guy I knew for a long time, Louis Test, who was the Reno city attorney for several years. And he talked me into coming back, and I went to work for his law firm.
Is this private practice?
Private practice in Reno.
Private practice in Reno.
Where we did a lot of commercial litigation. I did all the litigation in the law firm. They didn't want to do the litigation, so I did all the trial work, which is what I enjoy.
You had to practice, you mean?
I actually had to practice. And so I came back to Reno, and I said I was in Reno for 6 years. And then that's when I got talked into running for district attorney back in Hawthorne.
Oh, okay.
And so I did that for one term.
So you were district attorney in Hawthorne for a term? Oh, that's very interesting. I didn't realize that you had already sit. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to take our first break, and then we're going to get back into. We'll talk a little bit about leading up to your candidacy now, and we'll be right back.
Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates.